Think lobster's always been a fancy feast? Strap in for a culinary roller coaster ride from the seafloor to high society plates. Lobster, with its reputation as one of the most expensive dishes on any menu, has long been associated with luxury dining. But what if I told you that lobster wasn't always synonymous with wealth and opulence? In fact, it used to be one of the cheapest meals you could get, like the equivalent of bargain bin ramen noodles cheap. So, how did lobster go from being a poor man's dinner to a feast fit for royalty? Well, fasten your lobster bibs because we're about to dive into the intriguing history of this crustacean's transformation. Serving up smiles one dish at a time. Food is Thy Mood is now live. Welcome back, Moody Foodies! Have you ever sat down to a fancy dinner and thought, nothing says fancy quite like ordering lobster? Lobster is not just a luxury item, it's a versatile star in the culinary world. Did you know that the largest lobster ever caught weighed a whopping 44 pounds and was over 3.5 feet long? That's about the size of a small child. Lobsters can live for over 100 years and continue growing throughout their lives, but such giants are rare in today's oceans. That's the largest lobster. Who is the largest producer? On the statistical front, did you know that the United States and Canada are the largest producers of lobster, with millions of pounds harvested annually? And despite its luxury status, the demand for lobster remains high, with over 80% of consumers in fine dining establishments ordering it when available. Why do 80% of diners feel the urge to order lobster? Well, lobster is truly a treat with its incredible adaptability in the kitchen, lending itself to a variety of cooking styles and flavors. From the classic New England lobster roll, where the meat is served cold with a touch of mayonnaise in a buttered toasted bun, to the luxurious lobster thermidor, a creamy and brandy-infused concoction. The options are endless. For a twist, why not try lobster mac and cheese? It combines the comfort of creamy pasta with the richness of lobster for a truly indulgent dish. But it's not all about heavy sauces and butter. In health-conscious circles, grilled lobster is a hit. Just a drizzle of olive oil, a squeeze of lemon, and a sprinkle of herbs bring out the natural sweetness of the meat, making for a lighter but equally delectable meal. As we explore the culinary versatility of lobster, it becomes clear that this crustacean is more than just a fancy dish. It's a testament to the creativity and innovation of chefs and home cooks alike. So whether you're a gourmet chef or a cooking enthusiast, there's always a new lobster recipe waiting to be discovered. But could it really be the addition of creativity and some seasonings that make lobster so pricey? Now, having glimpsed into the culinary wonders of lobster, let's return to the present. Imagine this, you're at a high-end restaurant, and on your plate sits the fortune lobster, also known as the Rolls-Royce of lobsters. These rare delicacies hail from the frigid waters of Nova Scotia and are renowned for their unparalleled sweetness. But here's the catch. A fortune lobster roll will set you back over $20. Before you gulp down that pricey delight and potentially deplete next month's rent, have you ever wondered why lobster is so darn expensive? I mean, how difficult can it be to cook a lobster, right? Cooking lobster isn't just tossing it into a pot. It's an art form with a dash of bravery. Yes, lobsters are cooked alive, not because chefs are auditioning for a horror movie, but to prevent bacteria from party crashing your meal. The moment a lobster meets its maker, bacteria rush in like uninvited guests at a seafood fiesta, potentially causing vibriosis. So, while you might feel like a villain boiling a lobster, remember, it's all in the name of good health and great taste. It's a culinary quirk that turns dinner prep into an episode of Survivor Kitchen Edition. So did the risk of bacteria make this now high-end meal once a poor man's chicken, as it was nicknamed? Let's rewind a bit. Lobster wasn't always the delicacy it is today. In North America, lobsters were first enjoyed by Native Americans, First Nations, and indigenous communities. And who could blame them? Lobsters were practically washing up on the shore. And by the time European settlers arrived, There were mounds of lobsters piled as high as 6 meters or 2 feet. They had more lobsters than they knew what to do with, to the point where lobsters were fed to prisoners, unpaid servants, and even used as a fertilizer. Imagine that aroma! Needless to say, lobsters were a hit back then. They were abundant and provided a nutritious meal. However, humans being humans, the surplus of lobster dinners eventually led to the crustacean getting a less than glamorous nickname. So how did lobster go from rags to riches? Well, by the mid-1800s, the canning of lobster became a game changer. Lobster became one of the most popular canned products on the market, and due to the skyrocketing demand, the lobster supply started dwindling. By the time World War II rolled around, lobster was considered a delicacy and wasn't rationed like other foods. Now, what is it about lobsters that makes us crave them despite their high price tag? There are a few key elements to consider. Surprisingly, lobster is relatively low in calories compared to an equal portion of skinless chicken breast. But it's not just about the calories, it's also the taste. Lobster meat is firm, smooth, and soft to the bite. And unlike crab, lobster boasts a sweeter flavor with just a hint of saltiness. It's no wonder my mouth is watering just talking about it. And finally, in today's time, there are regulations in place which limit the lobster which can be caught, where we start talking economics and the supply and demand curve while also ensuring supply for the future. And let's face it, once it was realized that people will pay a high price for the tail, who is going to drop the price? So while yes, at the time it was a prison food, catching practices impacted lobster rarity. And with a great flavor, society has settled on the value at which 80% of diners are willing to pay. But what about you? Tell us in the comments how you feel about the lobster. Do you think it's prison food or is it a special treat to you? But wait, we've been talking about lobster and its journey from humble beginnings to fine dining stardom. But there's another delicacy that deserves our attention. If you're feeling adventurous and ready to explore unique culinary experiences, get ready for this. Hairy tofu, a type of fermented tofu with a distinctly fuzzy appearance. Yes, you heard it right. This tofu gets its hairy look from mold spores that form during fermentation. It's a staple in some Chinese cuisines, especially in places like Guangdong and Hong Kong. So why is hairy tofu such a unique and sought-after delicacy? Well, that's a story for another time, and we'll have the answer for you in the next installment. In the meantime, if you're thinking of splurging on an extravagant dinner, whether it's lobster or tofu, let us know in the comments below. Hey, that even rhymes! Big thanks to all of you moody foodies out there for tagging along on our lobster journey. Did all this talk about lobsters give you a new way to look at your dinner? Let's chat about it. Drop a comment below, tell us what you think, or shout out any other cool food stories you want us to dig into. Don't forget to hit like, share this video, and help us keep this foodie train rolling. Catch you next time for more awesome eats and tales.